Vegetarianism and veganism is very prominent in today's world. You can see it everywhere. But I felt like I was very ignorant to it, and there was a lot of things I didn't know. So I wanted to find out more and learn about it. So, wanting to know more, I had a few questions. The first one being, how many people are actually vegetarian or vegan? And although most of it fits under vegetarianism, it's estimated that about 8% of the world population identify themselves as vegetarian. According to a 2018 poll, about 5% of US adults consider themselves to be vegetarian as well. Now, another question I had was that when did veganism and vegetarianism start? And the answer to that is November 1944. Because in November 1944, a British woodworker named Donald Watson announced that because vegetarians ate dairy and eggs, he was going to create a new term called vegan. And after that, this term, vegetarianism, veganism, really mainstreamed mainly in the 2010s, and it became very popular. Now, the next question I had is, why do people actually choose to become vegan or vegetarian? And for me, the main reason was people wanted to, save animals, help animals, go against animal cruelty, so they didn't want to eat meat. And that's why I thought people choose to become either vegetarian or vegan. And that's how I grew up and what I grew up thinking. Now, looking online, I found that going vegan is actually a great opportunity to learn more about nutrition and cooking, and it also helps to improve your diet. Uh, it helps you get the nutrients from plants and foods and allows more room in your diet for health promoting options like whole grain, fruit, nuts, seeds, and vegetables, which are packed full of beneficial fibers like vitamins and minerals. And there's actually quite a few bodybuilders that are vegan or vegetarian. My sister was actually a vegan, and the reason she chose to pursue being like a vegetarian and then a vegan was just out of the experience. She thought it was a good opportunity to try a different lifestyle and see what she would gain from it. And overall, she went from being a vegetarian for a few years to being a vegan, and she did quit being a vegan after a couple of years, but she said it was a great experience. And me personally, being able to go over and try those meals and see the lifestyle, I thought it was actually it was very interesting. It's not something that I personally would partake in, but it is a very intriguing experience. I also asked this question of why do people choose to be vegan to a group of people, and this was their response.
In my opinion, I feel like people choose to be a vegan. Well, some people, they don't have a choice in the matter. They physically can't digest meat. Other people, it's just morally right to them not to eat anything, well, another living thing. And other people just feel like that it's well, it's cool to them. So I guess that isn't a really good answer. So I would just have to go with it's all a choice to them. They choose to be vegans, and some people, again, they don't get that choice, but they still can choose whether or not to eat meat or not. So that is, well, at least my opinion on why people decide to be vegans.
I think people choose to be vegan because they don't like the suffering of animals, and they want um, they don't want that. And the I've heard that the energy, like the cycle of energy, whatever, is more efficient if we just eat the plants rather than the animals.
As you can see with those two responses, there's quite a discrepancy in why they think people choose to be vegan or vegetarian, similar to how I was unsure and I had a very narrow view of the subject myself. So, lastly, I had the pros and cons for veganism and vegetarianism. And looking it up, I found some of the pros to be reduced risk of disease, may increase food variety. There's a lot of different vegan and vegetarian foods you can try out. Improved weight control, uh, complete nutrition, reduce food costs because meat can sometimes get expensive. And although vegan and vegetarian products tend to be a little bit more expensive, it can overall cost less than if you're buying certain meats. It has an environmental impact and ethical treatment of animals, which is the main one that I personally believed in. And then some of the cons being possible nutrient deficiencies, just the things lacking when you eat like meat or other like proteins, and some things that are restricted in your vegetarian or vegan diet. You have fewer food choices. There's really a lot of restrictions, especially when you go out to restaurants or to other parties. Um, Most people can't accommodate for your requirements for being vegetarian or vegan. Although there are certain special menus for that, it is very limited. On top of that, it's less convenient. It's not always that healthy, and it could possibly expose you to certain chemicals. There's a lot of implementation of vegan diets or vegetarian diets, such as if you go to Taco Bell or a lot of restaurants, there's actually vegan specific menus that people can choose from. Obviously, you don't have to be vegan or vegetarian to choose from them. They could be a nice new experience to try, but it is a kind of accommodation to vegans and vegetarians so that they can actually enjoy these fast foods or other restaurants.